So if I'm a window treatment dealer listening today, what's the first step to add Skylight shades to my offerings?
Yeah. The great question. And like I said, your customers see a lot of homes. I mean, they're in a lot of different homes. So the first thing is, you know, identify homes that have skylights, right? The second thing is they really need to identify what kind of skylight it is, and we can help with that. And I would encourage anybody that's listening to this that's interested in learning more about skylights and how they can make money on this opportunity to contact or reach out to us, and let's put you in touch with your local Velux representative. We've got a rep that covers every state in the country, and what we will do is we'll come in and do some training, and we'll teach you how to identify the different types of skylights that are out there. The good news is the vast majority of them are Velux skylights, and there's some unique features that identify it as a Velux. The other thing that's quite powerful is all Velux skylights going back to really the early 90s have an ID tag on them that tells us exactly what model, type, and size that skylight is. So with that information, if we can, teach your dealers to identify that it's a Velux skylight, get that tag information, then it's a simple, okay, here's your blind options that are or shade options that are available for that product. And we still support all our back product with shades so that they can retrofit and add shades then to those existing skylights. And there's a
Awesome.
huge base. So like I said, up until really just the last couple of years, from COVID forward, we really moved the needle on our shade sales. And now today, like I said, our core products that's coming standard. We've got a 50-year history where the vast majority of our skylights, only about 10, depending on where you're at, 10 to 20% of our skylights are going out the door with shades on them. So, the vast majority of them are what we call naked skylights. And there's nothing more that we would love than for your audience to say, you know what, that's an opportunity I want to capitalize on, and I'm going to add some shades to those for these folks.
Yeah. So another segment of listeners for the show are people that do awnings, exterior shading. Do you see this as a good add-on for them as well?
Oh, again, the awareness consumers have of what their options are with skylights is pretty limited, unfortunately. Most people that they have a skylight, right? And they don't know if they got a bubble skylight, they don't necessarily know that there's alternatives that are much better. If they got an old Velux skylight, they don't necessarily know why they might want to replace that skylight or why they might want to add a shade to that skylight for energy, improvement reasons and or just light control reasons. I think there is an opportunity, regardless of whether you're inside the home or exterior, when you see skylights, I think there's an opportunity there because unfortunately for us, not too many people are dialed into this category and talking about it. So you can do a couple things, whether you're interior window treatment specialist or an exterior awning guy. Is if you want to get in the game, first thing is reaching out to us and say, hey, I heard this podcast. I think there's an opportunity here. I'd like to learn a little bit more about it. And what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll do some training and kind of let you know what the opportunities are in terms of, okay, if it's this kind of skylight, here's what you need to do with it. If it's one of ours, here's what your options are. But in a lot of cases, you might want to even do a partnership. Knowledge is power. And if you guys are at the home, have the relationship with the homeowner, part of what I do in my current role is develop a network of skylight specialists across the country. And our skylight specialists, I mean, they make their living literally installing, replacing, and servicing skylights. So there's an opportunity there, I think, where you could partner if we have one in the market that one of your customers is working in, to create a partnership and say, hey, I don't want to get in the business necessarily of replacing skylights, and hey, I'm not a roofer, I'm not comfortable with that. But I am a shade guy or I'm an exterior awning guy and I see an opportunity here. And depending on the age of that, installing the shades is easy, but you might not want to install a shade on a 40-year-old skylight, right? So there might be some synergies that could happen there. And by all means, like I said, I've brought people into our industry, into our category of skylight specialists.